Hey guys, welcome back to LOI Fan TV. We're back again for a European preview and predictions game week three in the Europa Conference League phase. Shamrock Rovers are playing away in Greece to AEK Athens, and Shelbourne are hosting Drita, which is a must-win game for Shels. So yeah, Ross, how are you? How are you feeling towards this one?
I'm all good, Luke. I'm all good now. Yeah, no, yeah, I think obviously as you touch on must win. I think both sides are kind of in desperate need for points now in the Conference
Yeah.
League phase. So it's going to be an interesting week. But so before we jump into it, guys, just if you can drop a like on the video as well, it's much appreciated. We're trying to hit. I think we're going to try to set a target of 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're gonna have so much content coming in the off season. So if you can hit subscribe and drop a like in the video, absolutely free of charge and helps us out so much. If you can do that, it's great. And if you're listening on Spotify as well, if you can drop us a follow and leave a 5-star rating as well, that helps us out massively. We're growing on that side of things as well. So much appreciated. So much stuff, exciting stuff coming in the off season as well for myself and Luke. So keep you entertained, but while we're waiting for the new campaign to start. But yeah, massive one here, Luke. You're obviously fresh off the LOI Central Live podcast. How did that go? How was that?
Good, yeah, it was good. They had Paul Hammond, Chris Shields, Keith Ward, and John Dunleavy on. So kind of they had in 2 segments. Kind of had a cup final segment where Paul Hammond was on the Rovers and um Dunleavy was on the Cork, and then yeah they had Wardy and then they had Chris Shields on, just kind of talking about Dundalk getting promoted and yeah, just all things League of Ireland. But it was really interesting. There's a kind of a few talking points off the back of it. Um, yeah. Kind of, I suppose
Did Wardy touch on the Dundalk situation at all? Did he?
he kind of did in the sense like he was just kind of saying like Jamaican jokes with Kieran Kilduff signed them now that he's back
Yeah,
in the door because they would have been good pals, but not to the depths in which
yeah,
we'd imagine. Dan McDonald kind of touched off the point about the FAI really want Dundalk to get a Premier Division license, so they will go through nearly any means necessary to make that happen. And he
yeah.
kind of referenced the Athlone situation last season, the first vision, like they really shouldn't have been awarded a first vision license, but they were because they needed the capacity. So I think Dundalk not getting a Premier Division license is definitely last case scenario, worst case scenario
Terrible
in their
luck, isn't
perspective.
it, for the league? Like if your team
Yeah,
they can't get a license, it's a shocking luck.
especially especially Kilduff coming in the door now, and yeah, obviously they're getting the pitch relayed as well, so I think yeah they should be fine, which is good news for the league. But obviously it's a huge rebuilding job in the Docks. Such a young squad that got promoted, needed a lot of reinforcements in the off season. But yeah, no, kind of one thing me and Ross were talking about before the video got underway. Going to kind of talk about obviously Jack Byrne's situation is will be probably one of the bigger talking points in the off season. But kind of Dan McDonald kind of nodded towards the direction that he'll be playing his football in North Dublin next season. Whether that's for the Shell side of the house or the Bow side of the house
Yeah,
remains to be seen. But obviously, he has a year left in his deal, so um, yeah. And that's a huge factor. Obviously, he's one of the highest paid players in the league. I think he's on north of 3,000 a week in and around. So, he's not going to want to sacrifice that for regular football. He'll happily sit. He'll happily go probably on loan to Dubai again if he did to maintain those figures. But yeah, kind of an interesting topic of discussion was that potentially it has to be a swap deal of some capacity, if a deal was to happen. But then again, you never know. Like if it comes to February next year and he's in eager, you know, a loan deal could happen too. But yeah, definitely lots of moving parts. Definitely, I think there's one or two players off Shelbourne the Shamrock Rovers would have their eyes on. Whether Shels would let them go, it's another thing. But then obviously Bow's getting Europe as well. Potentially, if Rovers in the cup final is another
yeah.
huge factor. So yeah, lots to talk about, lots to unpack there. But yeah, definitely is a developing story.
100% on Jack Byrne, I suppose. He's touching his wage there, and the fact is a year left on his deal. Like he is an asset to Rovers still. The fact he's not playing, he's still like he's not someone you just let leave for a free or anything. Like he
No.
is an asset worth some money. Like so, it's going to be a tricky deal to do, no matter what happens. And it's one of those where you can nearly see like if it gets to January time or whatever, you could see it maybe being a loan even and Rovers having to pay a little bit of his wage to get him off to somewhere else or something. You can see it that being like
Yeah.
what transpires in the end or something nearly.
Yeah, 100%. Like I just can't see a world in which us, getting one of your best players, get one of Bo's best players, especially with these both having Europe. Look, like obviously James Clark's been linked to Rovers, but kind of even from Reynolds after draw the game was saying that he's not going to go in your League of Ireland club. Is probably going to be across the water where he'll venture to, and he's out of contract, so there's no real leverage there from both side. If they wanted to use him in the deal, they can't. He's out of contract.
Yeah.
Dawson Devoy is the obviously other obvious one, but you're not going to swap Dawson Devoy for Jack Byrne, surely not. Age profile and everything, it doesn't make sense. Like Dawson Boyce is 5 years younger than Jack Byrne, so why would you? And then obviously from a Shels perspective, Harry was on a long term deal, wouldn't Shels would not do that. Jack or Henry Francis, they would not do that. And probably the other one you'd look at is maybe Kerr McEnroy, but then again, Shels probably would not do that either. So yeah, it's a deal in which I can't really see unless a mad kind of player appears. But yeah,
He could go
I'm
back.
a bit. Huh?
He could go back to Dubai, to be honest.
Well, he will. No, what I think will happen is I think it'd be, as you said, it'd be January. Nothing will have come to pass. He'll probably be training by himself, or I think he's done at Rovers personally.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
can
he'll
see
just
Pat going from as well in the weird world. I know you're
Apparently,
a factor, but
apparently that's a non-goer.
really, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because he was asked about that. Yeah, apparently that's a non-goer.
I was
So
thinking that like I think Shels is probably the destination. I could see him wanting to go with the Joey O'Brien having a relationship there. I think that the team system suits him, and that the fact that Shels can play with those kind of two narrow tens, I think that kind of probably suits me onto the ground. Imagine a midfield of Henry Francis, McEnroy, Wood, and Byrne. Like it's probably the best in the league. Like you'd say it's definitely not far off. Like so,
definitely on his day would be. Yeah, that's the whole point with Jack Byrne. On his day, he's the best player in the league. But
yeah.
they're few and far between these days, unfortunately, with injuries and so on. How his career's gone, but yeah, I think he will move to the Nerd League of Ireland club. Do I think it'll be for like a Dawson Devoy or McEnroy? Probably not. I'd love that to be the case, but I doubt it. I think it'll be a loan. I think Chelsea will probably pay like 2 grand of his wage, and we'll pay
Yeah.
the other grand. I think it'd be something like that, to be honest.
I could see that too. Yeah, I could see that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
We'll pause that for the moment anyway. We'll have our probably yellow white transfer shows and stuff going on throughout the all season, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure Jack Byrne will be a big talking point throughout the next couple of months. But we'll jump into these European games anyway. It's a massive, massive week for both Shelbourne and for Shamrock Rovers. We'll start with Shels. They play Drita of Kosovo at home at home it's in Tala, but obviously a massive game. Obviously Shell's massively disappointed after the game, the defeat in North Macedonia. Just a game they probably could have won as well, and especially like when if you watch the game, like they had a couple of chances and things just didn't fall for them and stuff. And yeah, definitely one they'll look back on and regret not even getting the point from this, desperately unlucky in the end. But this is must win territory now. If you couple like the last three games for Shells are very, very difficult. You have Alkmaar, Palace and Selji. So this is must win to give yourself a fighting chance. A couple of points on Drita. They've drawn their first two games in the Conference League so far. They've drawn with KUPS of Finland 1-1, and they drew with Omonia Nicosia of Cyprus 1-1 as well. And they're third in the Kosovo League at the minute. So hard to read too much into those stats. Like seem like a solid-ish enough side. Like it won't be an easy game, but probably not. Probably one you still think Shells can definitely target.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. To be honest, I think the loss in last time out against Scandia was a huge blow to Shells. I'm of the opinion now, even if they win on Thursday, getting to those 6 or 7 points is not near to impossible. But I sat there and watched us play Selji, and like that striker there is the Croatian is just a level above. Like danced around Honohan and Lopez for the goal. Like it just level above. I think if you get your 4 points off the next game, like you're looking at what Alkmaar. Best case a draw, Palace. That's just a write off, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
then Celje away, it's just a nightmare as well.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a tough one for Shells. I think a win here would be a huge victory for you during this campaign. It's kind of a weird one because obviously Shells have the easy games first, and then Rovers have the easy games last. So it's
yeah.
an interesting dynamic. But yeah, I definitely think I watched a good bit of that Shells game at North Macedonia, and you just don't lose that game, do you? You're well on top. You just don't lose that game. If you can't win it, you don't lose it, and they lost it. So this is a
Yeah.
huge sucker punch.
Yeah, especially kind of, I know Paddy Barrett touched on, he was on LOI Central last week. I think I was listening to him talk about it, and he was saying like the corner they can kind of concede it from. Sean Boyd had to go off with an injury. They would already use all their subs. There's 10 men down. He's the central part of like the zonal system in the box, defending corners. Had to reshuffle it all around. It was just like, it was one of those things where it feels like everything's again, like it's just one of those nights, like, desperately unlucky. But yeah, this is a really difficult game to call. I think for Shells. I think they obviously need to win this, and then you're probably looking at going to Selji, maybe hoping they've wrapped up a spot or something, or Kovacevic is a knock and he might not be risked or something, because he was a difference maker against Rovers, realistically, wasn't he? Like he was the difference maker
Oh, goals.
for both.
Yeah.
So you'd be looking for a little bit of luck, and I'd love Shells. I know there's a rivalry between Shells and Rovers, but like just Albert Riera kind of way overstepped the mark, and he just loves to get one back on him. I think even Rovers fans would like to see Shells beat them, to be honest, because like he's not a piece of
Just a
work.
prick. Like
Yeah,
he's,
yeah. So it would just be a nice story if Shells did go there and beat them, and then like
I would have loved Duffer and him to share a sideline together. Could you
yeah,
imagine?
that'd
To
have
have
been
each other in a headlock.
yeah. Bradley and Duffer would have actually shook hands over that, I'd say like
Oh, stop, 100%. Yeah, no, just a horrible, a horrible interview watching that back. Him talking about how Bradley's never gotten, has never managed outside of Ireland, just completely tone deaf, and obviously we know what's gone on with Stephen Bradley's personal life, his son being in chemotherapy for 3 years, and yeah, just to come out with something like that is just really, horrible reflection on Alberto Riera. And to be honest, I think he should have probably issued an apology. It was that bad, you know.
yeah.
But
It's not
yeah,
like
look,
it
hopefully,
wasn't like it was like the first time they'd come across each other. It was like you've played him last season as well. Like it's hard
yeah,
to believe that he wouldn't have known Bradley's situation or something if he'd done a little
yeah.
bit of homework on it. Such a big story kind of thing, you know?
Such a huge. You type Stephen Bradley's name to Google, it comes up. You like,
Yeah.
it's not like one of these things you go digging for it. It's playing. He ran the marathon there last week. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a
And
story.
as you say though, like even after the fact, he could have come out with an apology or something. Like he could have said, "Oh, I didn't like know the situation." He could have actually been the bigger man there and just said
Yeah,
an apology. And I think Bradley would have been all right with that. But like the fact he can't even do that just speaks volumes to the person he is. Like,
yeah, yeah. He looks like your man at wacky races as well.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
remember
but yeah,
you were
no,
saying like you could see, I think potentially down the line, Riera and Bradley clashing in like the championship potentially in the future. Don't
yeah.
end up
I think
something
so, yeah, because he
that
was linked
way.
heavily with the whole job. You don't think he got it. See, Brady was linked with the Millwall job. He didn't go. Yeah, I think I think they're definitely on a collision path in the future. Definitely, yeah. I don't think this is the last time we see those two managing against each other.
No, for sure. But we'll touch back on the Shels Drita game. I'm gonna go
Yeah, yeah,
for a Shels win here. I think I have to.
yeah,
I'm gonna go for I'll go for a 2-1 Shels.
yeah. No, fair. No, I'm gonna be optimistic too. I'm gonna go 1-0 Shells. I think he's been a bit gun shy in Europe, to be fair.
Yeah.
And to be fair, probably it's such a new thing for you. But at the same time, you're not really conceding goals. Like one goal conceding 2 games is good. So you just need to put the ball in the net. So yeah, 1-0.
Yeah, yeah. Happy days that would set us up nicely going into a couple of massive games then. We'll touch on, of course, AEK Athens against Shamrock Rovers. Obviously, Rovers have had a disappointing enough start to kind of life in the Conference League so far. Two tough games, but 0 points on the board. It doesn't get any easier. As we touched on, kind of the easier games come towards the end. But Athens away, they actually lost 3-1 to Celje in their first game. Obviously, Celje are on fire at the minute. But they followed up with a 6-0 win over Aberdeen in their second game. So really put to bed any kind of thoughts of this could be an easy enough night. Like they're third in the Greek league behind PAOK and Olympiacos. Only 9 games played there. It's tight enough still. So they'll probably be in
Yeah,
the race there as well. I was just looking at their most recent league game. I think they brought Luka Jovic off the bench. Like it's just kind of former Real Madrid, what,
as
50
you do.
man or whatever. Like so, just shows you what you're up against.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge one. It's a huge task. And Bradley, now, this is an interesting one because Bradley said after the game against Sligo, as I said, I knew the Sligo game was gonna be a dud. It was gonna be a game where we probably played our second team, which we did. But he was like, "Oh, rotation is gonna be a huge part. Thursday, Sunday with the cup final and so on." But then again, I'm looking at the bench and I'm going, he's hardly gonna bench all those lads again. I think there could be a bit
It
of a
would make
double
more
bluff
sense for
here.
him to play the first team against Sligo and then have a week off play coach because you want to keep them sharp in some regard.
Yeah,
You don't want
yeah.
to
You,
be
you,
have
you
lads on
don't
bench
you
for
don't
weeks. Like
you don't bench Healy, Watts. Cleary, Grant. I know Dane could come back from injury, but you don't bench all those boys and then bench them again.
Yeah, no.
So I think they'll all be involved. I think he's going to try to strike the balance here of having, 8 or 7 or 8 proper starters in both games against Cork and thing. I think he needs good, like we like he's talking about 7 points, and we don't get anything here. He's basically saying we need 7 out of our last 9, which is a huge ask.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we just need 7 points. Obviously, I thought the Celtic. I was hoping the Celtic would be that point. It didn't come to fruition. We've been off it. I think we're a bit. I don't know what's going on with us at the moment. I think it's just a bit of fatigue. We've essentially been playing for nearly 2 years straight now, with little breaks. So I think maybe that's a bit of a thing. Obviously, lads are getting rushed back home and got rushed back from an injury. Then he went off again against Galway. Like Lee Grace has been rushed back from an injury and he's been off and he got sent off in Derry and then gave away a penalty against Sligo. So yeah, I just think some lads are really feeling the weight of the load. But yeah,
The run of
this
form
game.
hasn't been great, hasn't it, for like a little while now? It's been a kind of dodgy enough run for a while.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's a few different things that goes into it. Like obviously, when you're missing four of your back five, it never helps.
Of
But
course.
yeah, no, yeah, it's not ideal. But yeah, as far as this game goes, huge ask. These are a solid team, regardless of losing to Celtic and beating Aberdeen 6-0. They are what they are. I don't think Bradley's under any illusions. I just hope that we, put a strong team out. And I think if we do put a strong team out, we have half a chance of maybe parking on the edge of the box and getting a draw, maybe. But that's a huge if. The optimist in me says that, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to go. What did I say in my prediction? I think I said. What did I say? I said 2-1 or 3-1. I'll go 2-1. AEK Athens. I think we'll just fall short, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it'd be probably similar enough, to be honest. I think
Yeah,
the priority probably is the cup, realistically.
yeah,
So
yeah.
really like so. I think people's eyes will be on that, and it's a tough turnaround that from Athens to the Aviva. Like, could you imagine you lose both of them? Like, it'd be these two games. Like, it'd be kind of a sad end to the season, really, wouldn't it? Like, after what's been a great year, it would be a little bit disappointing. Like,
Losing the Cork is unthinkable. It's
yeah.
it's absolutely unthinkable. So I
Would
think
you take
when
slight solace in the fact that it would take Europe off bows?
100%. Then I'll be talking about Dawson Devoy and Jack Byrne swap deal, and the whole winter transfer shows will be about that.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah,
I want the double, and like no
yeah,
better opportunity. Like even like how Cork on against Derry, as I kind of said to you, like they were going to be, apparently Derry were well off it, and they still won. Cork we're a bit of a basket case, so we can't lose to them. But then again, I saw a weird stat actually about Cork City. They've lost the most points from winning position. They lost 21 points from winning positions.
Oh, that's that as
So
well, actually. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so it's an interesting statistic. They could well take the lead against us. Like if you're thinking about a cup final after Thursday in Athens, like we're probably going to start sluggish, and they could well capitalise. So yeah, no, but yeah, as far as this game goes, it's a huge ask. What do you think?
yeah. I'd fancy the home win, to be honest. I think if you were at home
Yeah,
here, I'd be slightly more optimistic, maybe. But I just think away from home, even like Athens, they have good. They'll be a very strong side. Like they'll be probably similar level to Prague, probably more like in
100%.
and around that level. Like so, it's all about the last three games for Rovers. I think if you can even get 6 points and hope for the best, like with the last two. But let's just see what happens. We won't touch on that for a minute. But I'll go 3-1 Athens. I think it'll be a tough game, but you'll get them a decent game. It's very tough to see again then from it.
Very
Especially
tough.
with
Yeah,
your
no.
defense at the minute, it just feels a little bit. If you were flying form and you were going into it like you were going to the Santa Clara game or something, and you had a bit of momentum, but it just feels momentum's kind of stifled a little bit. And there's a few injury issues and players not playing and with form stuff and bits and pieces. Like,
100%. No, no, we're not. We've peaked at Santa Clara's, but I suppose when I think about Santa Clara, like that's a bit of solace to take. We have that in our locker. We can hit those levels,
yeah,
but we just haven't been hitting them. So yeah, it's hard to go off. But I honestly, like coming back into the team now with Danny Grant coming back in, like I never thought I'd say it, but like he's honestly like one of our most important players. Like so, it's huge to have him back. Like we just lack so much speed and attacking threat out wide, and he's not in the team. Obviously, you've Honan, but outside of Honan, you've no one really.
yeah,
You've Adam Matthews who's kind of doesn't really have the legs, and you have Sean Kavanagh who doesn't really have the legs, and you've Corey O'Sullivan who's the centre back for most of the season, and young fella. So yeah, it's great to have him back. So look, we'll see. Be
yeah,
tough.
yeah. We shall see. Absolutely. Exciting week ahead now with European stuff, cup finals, all sorts of stuff to come.
So this is what happens when you play for Shamrock Rovers. This is what happens. This is how it goes.
Oh, Shelbourne soon
I'm
comes.
buzzing. I can't wait to do for us to do that team of the season.
Yeah,
Because obviously, like I think the difference maker and why people should tune into it is because obviously people have made the decision on their team of the season with a month ago. We're going to make the decision off the whole picture being painted. So I think it'd be a bit different on that regard. But yeah, guys, there we have it. I suppose there's a European roundup, preview and predictions. Look, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about all the things we've discussed. Let us know your predictions also. And yeah, let's try to hit 30 likes this week, guys. As Ross was saying, let's try to get to 4,000 subscribers before Christmas. We're lots of more content coming your way. So yeah, no best way to keep in touch with it by subscribing. So yeah, Ross, thanks as always.
nice one, Luke. Thanks for being guys.